Part 21. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 201. Mr. Xia put a bank card in front of Jin Lily and told her, "After I leave, you go and take out the money inside. You know the password. You should be able to withdraw so much from Lin Yiyan's bank card of cash." Jin Lily looked at Mr. Xia and asked in confusion, "What are you doing?" Mr. Xia smiled and said, "If there is no news from me within 3 days, take the money and leave immediately. It is best not to even stay in Hainan." Jin Lily shook her head and pushed the card back. "I'm not going anywhere. I'm just waiting for you here. If you don't come, I won't leave. If you have the guts, don't go back to Hainan." Mr. Xia smiled bitterly, "You think I don't want to come back?" "I know." Jin Lily nodded, "but I want you, no matter what happens in Beijing, just think about it more. I will wait for you here." When Jin Lily said this, she thought of Chen Ming. She thought, if Mr. Xia becomes Chen Ming, then I will be Xiao Zhao. Don't be reluctant to give up money. If losing money can eliminate disaster, just spread it out in large quantities. You are just a pauper, begging for food. Remember to come back to Hainan. I will wait for you here." Jin Lily said that Mr. Xia felt hot in his heart, and he turned his head away. Jin Lily said with a smile, "A grown man, he is so shy, and he still cries." Mr. Xia slapped the table and shouted, "Okay, I will remember your words, and I will die in Hainan." He pushed the card over and said to Jin Lily, "You should keep this card. If you want to spend coins, I still have money. Then just leave it on the table waiting for you. Remember, there is someone here and the card is there. You will starve to death when you return to Hainan. If you really want to give me money, then fine, when you come back, we will go to the bank together. From now on go and withdraw $1 from this card and give it to me." Mr. Xia looked at Jin Lily. He knew that she would do this if she said so. He nodded and said, Xia's hiking, remember your words." Seeing that the time was coming, Mr. Xia was going to take a taxi downstairs. Jin Lily said, "No, I will drive you." Mr. Xia was taken aback and asked, "Can you drive it?" "Okay, so what if I get hit?" Jin Lily said. Mr. Xia was stunned for a moment, then laughed, "That's right, what will happen if we hit it?" The two went downstairs hand in hand and got into the car. Jin Lily drove the car and took Mr. Xia to the airport. Mr. Xia praised, "Not bad, much better than I expected." When they arrived at the airport, Jin Lily couldn't park the car. It was Mr. Xia who helped park the car. The two of them entered the terminal hand in hand. Mr. Xia was about to go through the security check. The two of them stood there, feeling extremely uncomfortable. Jin Lily didn't care about the public, and hugged Mr. Xia and kissed them. Everyone around them looked at them. Jin Lily felt that Mr. Xia was uncomfortable, and smiled softly, "Okay, I'll let you go first." Jin Lily watched Mr. Xia pass the security check and disappear from her sight. She still stood there for a long time. Through the glass of the terminal, she saw planes taking off one after another, and she felt in her heart empty. She felt that there was a Xia's hiking on every plane, flying away from her. Jin Lily walked to the parking lot, got into the car, and when she drove out, the front of the car hit the car next to her. She didn't even stop and continued driving. The security guard patrolling behind was shouting loudly, but she didn't bother. "Ignore him and drive away." Along the way, Jin Lily only felt that the steering wheel and accelerator of the car were much heavier than when they came just now. Had they been damaged? Jin Lily didn't dare to stop and take a look on the street, thinking, no matter what, as long as it can still be driven. Returning to the underground parking lot of the financial garden, she backed up several times but could not back the car into the parking space. A car happened to come in. Jin Lily quickly got out of the car and stopped the car. The driver of the car stopped. After getting out of the car and rolling down the window, Jin Lily said to him, "I can't back my car into the parking space. Can you help me?" The man smiled, got out of the car, and asked, "Are you the new driver?" Jin Lily shook her head, "No, I haven't gotten my driver's license yet." The man glanced at Jin Lily and smiled, "Awesome." He sat in Jin Lily's driver's seat, turned to look to the right, and then looked curiously at Jin Lily standing outside the car. Jin Lily asked, "What's wrong? You didn't even release the handbrake, so you drove like this." "Damn it," Jin Lily shouted, "I came from the airport and I kept forgetting to release the handbrake. I asked myself why the steering wheel and the accelerator are so heavy." The man laughed loudly, and Jin Lily shouted, stop laughing, help me park the car." The man parked the car into the parking space, got out of the car, and walked back to his car. Still laughing, he said to Jin Lily, "I hope I don't run into you next time I drive on the road." Jin Lily scolded, "What are you afraid of? Just stay away." "Okay," as ordered. The man stepped on the accelerator and drove away. Jin Lily went upstairs, locked the door, walked to the kitchen and looked at the refrigerator. There were a lot of eggs and noodles in the refrigerator, and there were biscuits in her room. This was enough. She felt that these things would be enough to last until summer. Always come back. Jin Lily walked back to the living room and stood there thinking for a while. She unplugged all the phone lines. Before Mr. Xia came back, whether they were clients or acquaintances, Jin Lily felt that she had nothing to say to them. "And I don't know what to say. No matter what business or project, Mr. Xia is ready to run away. Do these things still matter? If Mr. Xia can't come back, having these means not having them, and it's destined to be a mess." After unplugging all the phone lines, Jin Lily thought about it, found another plastic bag, put her BB machine in it, and then put it in the cold room of the refrigerator. Before the contents in the refrigerator were finished, and before Mr. Xia came back. She has decided not to care who else will detain her. Jin Lily felt that the only thing she had to do every day was to wait and pray wholeheartedly, pray that Mr. Xia would be safe, and wait for Mr. Xia to return safely. Nothing else could disturb her. Although they had only been together for a few short hours from morning to now, Jin Lily felt that they had been well for a long time, so good that the two of them were inseparable and each was the only one for the other. Jin Lily sat down on the sofa. She didn't want to read a book, watch TV, or even look out the window. The only thing she wanted to do was to think carefully about every moment between herself and Mr. Xia. A name suddenly broke into Jin Lily's mind, Zhang Chen. This name was both familiar and unfamiliar. Jin Lily was startled. She was both frightened by this name and also by the fact that this name could actually frighten her. It's scary. She had to think of Zhang Chen. Jin Lily sighed. She felt that she had always been playing house with others. Only when she met Mr. Earth Knows How to Love. Jin Lily started to cry, and she whispered softly, "Zhang Chen, I'm sorry." When she said Zhang Chen was sorry, Zhang Chen seemed to have retreated very far away, and even his face was blurred. She was very clear that what she really worried about and cared about now was Mr. Xia. As long as Mr. Xia could come back, what else would she have? Those who cannot be abandoned include Zhang Chen. Jin Lily herself felt strange that she would have such thoughts. What was going on? How could everything become so incredible in just a few hours? The intimacy of these few hours had actually offset the impact of their relationship. Years of getting along. Jin Lily sat like this, the sky completely darkened outside. She thought that Mr. Xia should have been walking on the streets of Beijing at this time. Jin Lily had never been to Beijing during the season. She didn't know what the streets of Beijing would look like now. What kind of thing, but thinking that Mr. Xia was in Beijing at the moment, she felt that the word Beijing became closer to her. I love Beijing, 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 and you must also protect my Xia's hiking. Jin Lily sat in the dark and thought wildly. The center of her thoughts always revolved around Mr. Xia. When she was tired from thinking, she fell down and fell asleep on the sofa. She vaguely heard someone opening the door and coming in. Jin Lily sat down. When I got up, I realized that I was dreaming. In her and Lao Bao's office, the curtains were half opened, and the light yellow light from outside poured into the living room from the window. The sound of a whistle came from the distance. This was Xiuying Port, and a ferry was about to dock. Jin Lily walked to her office and looked over there. Although it was already midnight, there were still many people and cars gathered on the pier. The iodine tungsten lamps on the telephone poles illuminated the dock brightly, and those people were like transparent ants, moving there. Jin Lily thought about Mr. Xia again. She didn't know where Mr. Xia was now, or whether he was still moving like a transparent ant under the street lights in Beijing. That's my dear ant. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 202. Jin Lily didn't know that she could like someone so suddenly, impulsively, and so desperately. Loving someone turns out to be so worrying. If love has 10 points, Jin Lily feels that she has reached 10 points now. In comparison, her original love with Zhang Chen has become shallow. Jin Lily felt a little disappointed, but also a little satisfied. It turned out that the kind of vigorous love written in the book existed, and she had experienced it personally. Jin Lily feels that she is already making a splash now. Compared with those who are watching their lovers go to the execution ground or the battlefield, I am not inferior to them at all. I am also using my life and all my body and mind to wait for my lover. Return. Jin Lily thought of Mr. Xia's words, once I leave, I probably won't be able to come back. Thinking back on this sentence now, it was full of a sense of ritual, making Jin Lily's waiting a bit tragic. Jin Lily likes and is very proud of this kind of tragedy. It makes her love seem to become broad and deep, filling the whole world. She was very satisfied with herself. When Mr. Xia put the bank card in front of her and said to herself, "You can leave with the money," Jin Lily was very satisfied with herself. At that time, she did not hesitate at all and refused flatly. This decisiveness made her love pure. Jin Lily always thought that she was a person who liked money, but only today did she realize that she had thought wrong about herself. It turned out that when she was in front of money, she didn't even frown or feel any ripples in her heart. This temptation is not for that moment. It has time for her to regret it. If she wants to, the card is still on the table. She can go in and get it, go to Lin Yiyan's bank, and put it in, withdraw all the money above and fly away. But Jin Lily had no such idea at all. Why are you so awesome? Jin Lily was even moved by herself. Jin Lily moves around the small space around the sofa in the living room every day, and rarely even goes to her own room, because here, if Mr. Xia comes back, she will know it immediately. Jin Lily didn't wash her face, brush her teeth, and only took a shower once in a few days. If she hadn't been so hungry, she wouldn't even leave the sofa to get herself something to eat. After eating noodles for a few days, she already felt that the chopsticks tasted better than the noodles, but it didn't matter, because I was waiting for someone now. After chewing the cookies for a few days, she felt that just picking up a book, tearing off a few pages and putting them in her mouth to chew, the taste would probably not be worse than the cookies, but it didn't matter. Who told me to wait for someone now? When Jin Lily heard Zhou Zhenglei knocking on the door, Jin Lily felt strange. Didn't Zhou Zhen know that Mr. Xia had gone to Beijing? If Mr. Xia comes back, he will definitely know what he is doing here. Jin Lily heard Zhou Zhen calling outside, "Lily, Lily." Jin Lily didn't open the door and didn't make a sound. After Zhou Zhen left, Jin Lily suddenly thought that he must have been asked by Mr. Jin Lily couldn't help but be moved to tears when she thought that Mr. Jin Lily hopes that she is sick now and is getting more and more haggard day by day. She hopes that when Mr. Xia comes back, she will be dying. Mr. Xia will hold her and think she is dead. When Mr. Xia is in pain, his eyes will shed tears. When she reached out and touched his face, Mr. Xia would definitely cry with joy. Jin Lily was so attracted and moved by such dramatic effects that she lived in the troupe for a long time. When she saw the spotlight chasing Tan Shahen, and the audience below gave Tan Shahen applause and cheers, Jin Lily was secretly envious. Who else wouldn't a girl have a dream about a protagonist? Jin Lily felt that her day had come. In this touching drama, she was the protagonist, the real protagonist. Jin Lily went to the bathroom to look in the mirror, and couldn't help but sigh. Although the clear soup every day was too little, why couldn't she see herself becoming thinner and haggard? It used to be brighter. Apart from being a little unkempt, how could he still have a rosy complexion? It doesn't make sense. Jin Lily shook her head, but she didn't feel dizzy. It seemed that she wouldn't be sick for a while. Why the hell is it so difficult to be dying? Jin Lily sighed. She felt that as long as she was not dying, the protagonist could only be regarded as half of the role, which was not satisfactory enough. Jin Lily was lying on the sofa. She heard other people knocking on the door, some whom Jin Lily knew and some who she didn't know. They called Mr. Xiao's name, and also called Lao Bao's name, and some called Xiao Jin, but those who called Xiao Jin were all after calling Mr. Xia and Lao Bao, and there was no response. This made Jin Lily very angry. Come on, this is not what a protagonist deserves. It's outrageous to rank yourself behind Mr. Xia, if you want to, but to still humming rank behind that traitor Lao Bao. Jin Lily ignored all these calls. For several days, there was no movement from Gu Shifang, and Zhang Chen never saw her again. Every day when she went back, the third floor was still dark. Gu Shifang took away the notes and receipts she left in the office the next day. The money that should be remitted was not delayed, everything seemed to be calm again. Zhang Chen couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. It seemed that Gu Shifang had really decided to let herself go, or at least, stop entangled with herself on this matter, wait, save, and settle the accounts together later. At night, Zhang Chen was lying on the bed, staring at the ceiling above his head. He never heard Gu Shifang's movement upstairs again. Zhang Chen concluded that he was just like the woman crying that day, because he was too nervous. Forked. When Zhang Chen was writing a note to Gu Shifang, he really wanted to write 1 or 2 more words to express his kindness to her, but after thinking about it, he forgot about it. He was worried that if he did this, in Gu Shifang's view, he might be guilty of committing a crime. Performance. Now that it has calmed down into a pool of stagnant water, why should I stir up some more waves? What's more, Gu Shifang may not be the only one who can see this note. Thinking of this, Zhang Chen thought of another thing. He wondered whether Kejin and the others would end up handing over to Gu Shifang by writing notes every day. Are you talking to Mr. Fu about work? If so, wouldn't it be better and prove that he has nothing to do with Gu Shifang? Ba. Do you want to have a relationship with her, or do you already have some shady relationship that requires you to go to such lengths? Zhang Chen cursed himself. The phone on the table rang, and Zhang Chen picked it up. Instructor, where is your pig grass girl? The idiot asked on the phone. Zhang Chen knew that he was talking about Jin Lily. Zhang Chen said, how do I know? We are not together every day. What are you going to do? What are you doing? I can't find her anywhere. Lao Cai from the construction team is also looking for her, but he can't find her. Zhang Chen was surprised. Why are you looking for her? Don't you have Lao Bao? The second-rate guy was even stranger than Zhang Chen and asked, Instructor, you don't know? Zhang Chen was stunned for a moment and asked, what do you know? Lao Bao has rebelled and is no longer in their company. Ah, Zhang Chen was surprised. Why hadn't he heard from Jin Lily about such a big thing? Could it be that some idiot is talking nonsense? How did you know that Lao Bao left the company? Zhang Chen asked the second boss. Zuko girl and Mr. Xia came to the construction site that day and told us personally. Mr. Xia also asked us to deal with Pigco girl for everything on the construction site in the future. Otherwise, why should I look for her? What day is that? Zhang Chen quickly interrupted him and asked, knowing that the idiot would get more and more outrageous if he continued talking. It's Sunday. Zhang Chen was even more confused. Didn't Jin Lily leave from Wanghalu to learn driving on Sunday? Why did she go to Sanya again? She was going to Sanya, and the night before, they hung out together all night, so it was impossible for her not to tell her. Did you remember correctly? Zhang Chen asked. It's only been a few days, how could I make a mistake? The second-rate guy scolded. Zhang Chen suddenly understood that since Lao Bao rebelled and the incident happened suddenly, Jin Lily and Mr. Xia suddenly went to Sanya to deal with the matter. It must have been a temporary decision. No wonder Jin Lily didn't tell him. You beat Mr. Xia's eldest brother, they should be together, Zhang Chen said to Huo. We are no longer together. Mr. Xia has gone to Beijing. How did you know? Mr. Xia and Uncle Tan told me to go back to Beijing and deal with some urgent matters at home. For small matters on the construction site, I can contact Sister Zuko. For major matters, I will wait until he comes back. Zhang Chen suddenly panicked. He felt that what the second-rate guy said was correct. If Mr. Xia was not in Hainan, then where would Jin Lily go? In particular, since Mr. Xia left the construction site matters to Jin Lily, according to Jin Lily's temper, she should stay on the phone every day, or even go to Sanya in person to take charge. How is it possible? Second-hand goods and construction, even the team couldn't find her. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 203. The second-rate guy was still nagging, so Zhang Chen quickly interrupted him and told him, I'll help you look for it first, and if I find it, let her call you. After Zhang Chen finished speaking, he hung up the phone. After hanging up the phone, Zhang Chen quickly picked up Jin Lily, and then called Jin Lily's office. There was a busy beep on the phone. Zhang Chen was worried that Jin Lily was returning his call, so he quickly hung up the phone. Zhang Chen sitting there, supporting his chin with both hands, staring at the phone on the table, after waiting for 5 or 6 minutes and there was no movement, Zhang Chen couldn't help but call Jin Lily again. There was still a busy signal on the phone, but Zhang Chen's heart calmed down. He thought that on the other end of the phone, Jin Lily must be discussing things with Mr. or anyone's phone number. This idiot is making such a big fuss. Zhang Chen stood up and cursed the idiot. As soon as Zhang Chen walked out of the office, the warehouse manager came to him and told him that there was something wrong with the few trucks of sand that had just been delivered. Master Wu said that it seemed to be sea sand, not river sand. Zhang Chen followed the warehouse manager. When they arrived at the place where sand was piled, they saw Xiao Wu there, scolding the supplier who supplied them with sand. When they saw Zhang Chen passing by, the supplier and Xiao Wu came over to greet them. Xiao Wu said, "The sand today looks wrong to me." Zhang Chen walked over to take a look. He found that the sand delivered today was relatively fine, with uniform particles and dark brown color. Compared with the original pile of sand, the color was darker and it really looked like sea sand. Xiao Wu asked the supplier to pull him back. The supplier looked at Zhang Chen with some embarrassment and argued that this was indeed river sand. Xiao Wu patted the supplier on the shoulder and said, "Come on." He walked to the original pile of sand, reached out and grabbed 2 handfuls of sand, squeezed it tightly, then released it, clapped his palms together, and then showed them his 2 palms. They were clean. He then walked to the sand he brought today, grabbed 2 handfuls, clenched and loosened, clapped his hands, and spread his palms. There was still a lot of sand stuck to his palms. The supplier's face turned red. Xiao Wu then grabbed today's sand and licked it with his tongue. He asked the supplier, "Do you want to try it too?" The supplier quickly waved his hand, smiled awkwardly, and told them the truth. Wasn't it a typhoon 2 days ago? The sand from Guangdong could not be transported, and he was worried that the supply would not be available here, so he had no choice but to fill in the supply school. The sand pits are filled with sea sand for the playground, and several trucks are sent over. Then we are willing to stop work for 2 days and the sand cannot be used. Otherwise, large areas of cracks will occur and everything will have to be reworked. Who will bear the loss? Zhang Chen asked him. The supplier was speechless and smiled coquettishly. Zhang Chen and the warehouse manager said, "Supervise them and clean this place." The warehouse manager said yes. Zhang Chen and Xiao Wu walked back to the office and sat down. Zhang Chen thought about Jin Lily and dialed Jin Lily's office number again. The signal was still busy. Zhang Chen muttered, "Strange." Xiao Wu asked, "What's wrong?" "Lily can't be found. She hasn't called her back, and the phone in the office has busy signals. How could she be on the phone for such a long time?" Zhang Chen said, and called the paging station again, asking them to dunk Jin Lily 3 times in a row. As soon as Zhang Chen put down the phone rang. Zhang Chen quickly picked it up. He was still a second-rate guy. The second-rate guy yelled, "Instructor, have you found the pig grass girl?" Zhang Chen said, "No, I will go to their company right away to have a look." "Not in the company, but in their company. Uncle Ten has been there twice yesterday and this morning, but there was no one there," Huo said. Zhang Chen was really anxious now. He cursed, "Why didn't you tell me earlier?" The second-rate guy scolded me back, "You're a bastard, you hung up on me before I even finished what I said." "Okay, this way, you go to Jinling Resort to look for it, and I'll go to their company to have a look," Zhang Chen shouted. After hanging up the phone, Zhang Chen briefly told Xiao Wu what the second guy had said to him earlier. Xiao Wu also became nervous and shouted, "Let's leave quickly." Zhang Chen and Xiao Wu arrived at the financial garden. The security guard at the door was a wild boar vehicle. When he saw Zhang Chen, he asked, "Coming to find a girlfriend?" While saying hello, he raised the barrier and waved their motorcycles in. Zhang Chen was about to go over, but stopped again. He asked Wild Boar's vehicle if he had seen Jin Lily today. Wild Boar's vehicle took off the beret on his head, wiped the sweat from his forehead with his hands, thought for a while, and said to Zhang Chen, "I haven't seen anyone from their company in the past 2 days. When was the last time you saw it?" 4 or 5 days ago, your girlfriend came back alone in a car that day." As soon as Zhang Chen heard this, he knew it was unreliable. Jin Lily didn't even have a driver's license. How could she drive a car back? Even if she wanted to drive, Mr. Someone who drives a company car and goes out to be lawless must have misremembered the boar's vehicle. Zhang Chen raised his hand towards him and went in. They arrived at Building G where Jin Lily's company was located, parked the motorcycle at the door, and ran upstairs. Zhang Chen and Xiao Wu arrived at the door of Jin Lily's company. The two knocked on the door. Zhang Chen shouted, "Lily, Lily." It was quiet inside the door. The 2 men stood in the corridor for a while and knocked again, but there was still no response. Instead, they knocked out the people from the company next door and told them that no one from their company was here. Many people came to them in the past 2 days. Did not find. The 2 of them went downstairs in frustration and walked to the door of the first floor. Zhang Chen felt at a loss. If Jin Lily was not in the company, Zhang Chen didn't know where she would go. The 2 sat down on the steps at the door. Xiao Wu looked at Zhang Chen and said hesitantly, Brother Chen, what are you talking about? That old man has rebelled? Could it be? Are you talking about whether he will harm Lily? Jiang Chen understood what Xiao Wu meant, and Xiao Wu nodded. No, Jiang Chen shook his head, and he said to Xiao Wu, that guy usually has a good relationship with Lily. If there is a conflict, it is also a conflict between him and Mr. Xia. If he wants revenge, he will only go to Mr. Xia. No, I'll find Lily. It makes sense, Xiao Wu agreed. The two of them sat on the steps for a while. Jiang Chen stood up and said to Xiao Wu, I'll go up and have a look. Xiao Wu also stood up and said, I'll go with you. The two men went upstairs again and knocked on the door of Jin Lily's company again. There was still no movement inside. People from the company next door opened the door and came out. When they saw it was them, they didn't say anything and stepped back. Jiang Chen and Xiao Wu arrived at the gate. Jiang Chen asked Wild Boar's vehicle, do you know my girlfriend's boss from her company? You mean that Asu? Asu is a character in the Hong Kong movie Once Upon a Time, also known as Yassi Asu. He has buck teeth. Not long after the movie became popular, the security guards at Financial Garden privately called Jin Lily the boss of his company. The package is Asu. Yes, that's him, Jiang Chen said. He has been there for a long time. It seems that I haven't seen him for a month or two. Wild Boar's vehicle said. Jiang Chen thought for a moment and then asked, can you help me ask if any of your other brothers have seen Buck Yasu recently? Wild Boar's vehicle raised his head, expressing both indifference and waiting. He walked back to the guard box, picked up the walkie-talkie hanging in the door, and called out, brothers, have you seen anyone from Building G recently, Su? The intercom rang, and everyone inside said no. It seemed that Lao Bao was already a celebrity here. If he came in and out, the security would not fail to remember him. Jiang Chen breathed a sigh of relief. Wild Boar's vehicle looked at Jiang Chen, turned around, turned away from Jiang Chen and the others, lowered his voice and asked, brothers, when have you ever seen the prudence of Asu's company? There was another noisy sound of electricity on the intercom, and then someone answered that it was last week, and someone said that it was 4 or 5 days ago, but no one said that they had seen it in the past 2 days. Only then did Jiang Chen know that Jin Lily was also a celebrity among security guards. Wild Boar's vehicle turned around and smiled sheepishly at Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen knew that he was embarrassed because he had to let himself know Jin Lily's nickname among their security guards. Jiang Chen threw the half-pack of cigarettes in his pocket to him and said thank you. Jiang Chen and the others had already left, and Wild Boar's vehicle shouted at their backs, if I see her, I will tell her that you came to see her. Jiang Chen rode a motorcycle and raised his right hand. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 204. Jiang Chen and Xiao Wu returned to the office. Jiang Chen first locked up Jin Lily, then took out the address book from his bag and dug out Mr. Xia's big brother number. Jiang Chen's hands were shaking as he pressed the phone buttons one by one. Jiang Chen called several times, but most of Mr. Xia's eldest brother couldn't get through. Jiang Chen thought for a while and then detained Lin Yiyan. Lin Yiyan came back and Jiang Chen asked her, have you seen Jin Lily? Lin Yiyan laughed, why are you asking me for Jin Lily? I should be the one asking you for it. After laughing, Lin Yiyan immediately felt that something was fishy and asked, did something happen to Lily? No, Jiang Chen said quickly, I just detained her and didn't reply. I thought she was at your place. Lin Yiyan breathed a sigh of relief and said, I was shocked. I thought something happened. Jiang Chen hung up Lin Yiyan's phone and withdrew the second-hand goods. The second-hand goods came back immediately. Jiang Chen shouted, have you ever gone to Jinling Resort to look for her? I'm at Jinling Resort now. The sister at the front desk said that I haven't seen the three of them since Sunday. They must have all gone back to Haikan Erhuo, and Jiang Chen said. Jiang Chen sat there blankly. Jin Lily could not be found in these places. He didn't know where else Jin Lily could go. Xiao Wu comforted him and said, "Brother Chen, don't worry. Sister Lily will be fine. She was with the trafficker, and she sold him to him." Zhang Chen couldn't help but laugh after hearing Xiao Wu's words, but he still couldn't help but feel anxious in his heart. The two of them sat there with nothing to say. They could only look at me, smiling bitterly. After a while, Lu Ligan came. When he entered the door, he called, "Have you found Lily?" Xiao Wu shook his head, and Zhang Chen asked strangely, "How do you know?" Lu Ligan glared at him and said to him, "After Lin Yiyan talked to you on the phone, she called Jin Lily's company. None of their company's phone numbers could get through. She called Jin Lily and didn't reply. She was worried. Did you guys have a quarrel? I didn't dare to call you, so I called me. Damn it, why don't you detain me even if such a big thing happens? What's the use of detaining you? We've looked for everything we need to look for. We've asked everyone we need to ask, and there's nothing wrong with us." The corner of Zhang Chen's mouth twitched. "What the hell else do you know that's new? Tell me first what's going on," Lu Ligan said. Zhang Chen repeated what he knew to Lu Ligan. After listening to it, Lu Ligan breathed a sigh of relief and said, "In this way, there is no danger that Lily is in danger. I estimate that she should be. Those buck teeth are stuck together, making it difficult to talk on the phone." Zhang Chen was startled and shouted, "What are they doing together?" Lu Ligan smiled, "What are you anxious about? Lily is doing secret work now, instigating rebellion." "Tell me quickly, what's going on?" Xiao Wu urged. "Think about it, that buck-toothed rebel is definitely not as simple as leaving the company. Lily and the others rushed to Sanya in a hurry, and Mr. Xia rushed to Beijing in a hurry. You really believed his lies? What happened at home?" It's time to deal with the crisis," Lu Ligan said firmly. "How do you say this?" Neither Zhang Chen nor Xiao Wu understood. The bucktooth rebel must have had some conflict with Mr. Xia. He must not be willing to leave like this. He will want to take revenge. How to take revenge? He can't beat Mr. Xia, so he can only write letters, report, and inform. For those who are playing dirty tricks, as long as it's a company, it's not a matter of which company's insiders turn against them, not to mention that Bucktooth used to be an accountant, so he has even more leverage." Lu Ligan said. Zhang Chen kept nodding. He felt that Lu Ligan's analysis was very reasonable. Accountants probably all have this kind of virtue. Didn't even Gu Shifang use the 250,000 to blackmail herself? "Don't talk about this buck-toothed Su. Are Lily's investors from Beijing?" Lu Ligan asked Zhang Chen, and Zhang Chen nodded. "That's right. Mr. Xia went to Beijing to communicate with the investors about this matter, or to put it more unpleasantly, it's called collusion, so that if the matter is exposed, everyone would be caught off guard and helpless." Zhang Chen agreed, "What you said makes sense, but what does this have to do with Lily? Where do you think that Bucktooth is? Could he be so stupid that he would go to the company to die by himself? He must be hiding in a secret place. Lily has a good relationship with him and should be able to contact him. In this way, Lily and Mr. Xia, one goes to Beijing to do preventive work, and the other goes to find Bucktooth and do ideological work. Even if the instigation of rebellion fails, Bucktooth must be stabilized first to prevent him from jumping over the wall in a hurry. But, even if Sister Lily is with him, she can still call him back." Xiao Wu was still puzzled. "Are you stupid?" Lu Ligan scolded. "How do you know there must be a phone where he is hiding? Lily received the page and told him, 'I'll go find the phone and answer the page.' That Bucktooth had already scared him away. How do people know if you are tipping off someone?" Zhang Chen and Xiao Wu suddenly realized that after thinking about it carefully, only Lu Ligan's explanation was reasonable and the most likely to happen. "Don't worry, Lily is fine," Lu Ligan said. "If Bucktooth wants to play with Lily, he is no match for her. Besides, Bucktooth is also frightened now. He wants to destroy Mr. Xia's job, but Mr. Xia still doesn't want his life. What level is he? What level is Mr. Xia? Will he be his opponent? Now he estimates that he will ask Lily to put in good words for him and protect him. Hearing what Lu Ligan said, Zhang Chen finally breathed a sigh of relief. He asked Lu Ligan, when will Lily show up? This matter will ultimately have to be resolved face to face by Mr. Xia and Bucktooth. When will Mr. Xia come back from Beijing? When will Jin Lily end her work of instigating rebellion and stabilizing him, and will she come to make you drink from the northwest wind again? Lu Ligan laughed loudly as he spoke. Zhang Chen and Xiao Wu were stunned for a moment, and then they also laughed. You idiot! Lu Ligan looked at Zhang Chen and cursed. Zhang Chen was confused by his scolding. Lu Ligan continued, how could you call Lin Yiyan? I'm looking for Lily. What's wrong with Lin Yiyan? Zhang Chen asked strangely. What's wrong? Lu Ligan sneered. Lily's company has a loan of 29 million in Lin Yiyan's bank, and Lin Yiyan is also the loan officer for this project. Tell her that Jin Lily can't be found. She called all the phone numbers in their company, including those in Sanya and Mr. Xia's big brother, but she couldn't get through. Do you think she'll be scared out of her mind? Life. She will have a miscarriage because of this, and you will wait until Qiang comes to settle the score with you. Ah, Lu Ligan said, and Zhang Chen also came to his senses. He thought, indeed, for banks, they are very concerned about any troubles in loan companies, not to mention that 3 people in the company disappeared at the same time. For such a big matter, Lin Yiyan, as a loan officer, is responsible if anything goes wrong with Jin Lily and her company. Zhang Chen became anxious. He quickly grabbed the phone on the table. Lu Ligan clicked and held down his hand. Lu Ligan asked, what do you want to do? I immediately called Lin Yiyan and Qiang and told them that Jin Lily and his company were fine. The construction and decoration of the hotel were still going on normally, Zhang Chen said anxiously. You have to say, idiot, I analyzed it with Lin Yiyan before, and she agreed with me. I assured her that Jin Lily and his company were fine. At this time, it is better to be still than to move. She also agreed that she would not take it for the time being. Report this situation to their president and wait for Mr. Xia to come back, otherwise, the entire overseas publishing industry will be turned upside down. After Lu Ligan finished speaking, he glared at Zhang Chen again and scolded, it's all your fault. If something goes wrong because of this, we didn't drink the northwest wind, and Jin Lily will really drink the northwest wind, idiot. Zhang Chen breathed a long sigh of relief and chuckled. Although Lu Ligan was scolding him, he felt that the scolding sounded so nice, and it was appropriate and timely. Let's atone for our sins, Lu Ligan and Zhang Chen said. Zhang Chen looked at him, wondering what he was talking about. The commander is going through so much trouble today. I guess your eldest brother can't sit still anymore. Why don't you give him a call and help Lily and the others stabilize their morale? Otherwise, your eldest brother will really stop the commander and the others, Lu Ligan said. When Zhang Chen heard that it made sense, he stood up and said, what are you calling? I'll go and make it clear to Mr. Tan in person that there are not only the sluts and the others on the construction site, but also the construction team. The construction team has been scared once by the boss in front of them. Now, I'm afraid they are more panicked than the idiots. The construction team, what I said does not work, only after Mr. Tan talks to him will it have some effect. You finally figured it out, Lu Ligan shouted, hurry up and go. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 205. Jin Lily was startled when she heard Zhang Chen's knock on the door. She held her breath and sat there, not daring to breathe out, but her heart was pounding with nervousness. She heard them knocking on the door and calling her name. After a pause, they knocked on the door again and called her name again. She heard someone coming out next door and saying something to them. They left. Jin Lily song after taking a breath, their knock on the door suddenly sounded again. Why is all of this so childish? Jin Lily was relieved when she heard that Zhang Chen came with Xiao Wu, but not Lu Ligan. She felt that if Lu Ligan was outside the door, he might be able to sense that she was inside, but not open the door. This guy always seems to have such an intuition. Jin Lily thought of their piece of land, their joy and anger after being hit. How childish were these things? Jin Lily thought that she had once been like them, foolishly dreaming about getting rich and never tired of it, and she felt funny. Isn't it easy to get rich? I have a bank card lying here now. If I take it out, I will be a rich woman. But I don't care. Jin Lily felt that there was already a deep gap between herself, them, and Zhang Chen. She could no longer see the problem from their level, just like they couldn't understand everything she had experienced, at least at this point. Lu Ligan was right, he was indeed looking up to the sky. The world will be so vast when you look toward the sky, right? Look towards the ground and you can see at most a penny on the side of the road. Jin Lily sighed. She didn't know how this gap was formed. She thinks it has something to do with Mr. Xia. I have already followed others and fought on the battlefield. You want me to retreat to the streets and alleys to play fake war games? If that were the case, Jin Lily felt that she was unwilling to do so. She would not be proud of victory and would not be discouraged by failure. This is not what Jin Lily needs. Jin Lily would not open the door to Zhang Chen and the others, nor would she answer them. She did not want to see anyone, and no one together would be as big as Jin Lily's worries and sorrows, and they were insignificant. Today is already the 5th day. Mr. Xia told her that if I don't come back for 3 days, you can take the money and leave. That means that 3 days is the golden rescue period for Mr. Xia to save himself. Today has been 5 days and it is not a rescue. Failure means that the bastard Lao Bao caused more damage than Mr. Xia expected, otherwise he would not have come back. He said that he would return to Hainan even if he died. There was no way he would lie to her. She believed this. Jin Lily slumped on the sofa. She felt that every inch of her skin was gone. Was she really on the verge of dying? When Jin Lily felt that she was starting to collapse, she didn't have the original excitement at all. She warned herself that from now on, nothing would be taken for granted. Every minute and every second would be a miracle. If Mr. Xia came back in a miracle, then it is the miracle of miracles. I just want to wait and create miracles. Jin Lily wiggled her nostrils, and she could smell that her body was already stinky. Bastard, you are just waiting for a miracle with such a stinky smell, will the miracle come again? Jin Lily was startled. She suddenly felt that the reason why the miracle did not happen was really because of her sloppiness. Jin Lily quickly jumped up, ran to the bathroom, washed herself thoroughly, put on lipstick and sprayed perfume, looked at herself radiantly in the mirror, and nodded with satisfaction. She walked back to the living room and sat there. She thought that no matter how far apart people were, they were all in touch with each other, and the more they loved each other, the more they loved each other. She had to work hard to cheer up and support Xia's hiking from behind. No matter what situation he is facing at the moment, I have to help him endure it. Who has I been afraid of? Jin Lily was tired from sitting on the sofa, so she went to the office to sit. Although there was a blue sky outside, in Jin Lily's eyes, everything was grey. As long as Mr. Xia didn't come back, Jin Lily's whole world would be grey. After Zhang Chen and Xiao Wu came here, it seemed that the whole world had forgotten about their company and her. No one knocked on their door again. People are the animals that get used to the most easily. It seemed that they were already used to her disappearance. Thinking of this, Jin Lily felt a little dissatisfied. She looked at the desk calendar on the table. Today was Saturday. It was supposed to be the day when she went to Wanghai Tower. Zhang Chen actually didn't come to see him again. He actually used that phrase twice. She knocked on the door and dismissed herself. It was not dismissal, but giving up. Jin Lily felt that Zhang Chen had accepted the fact that she did not exist. What kind of bullshit love is this? Just like Lu Ligan, he seemed to be in love with Tan Shahen, even carving coconuts and playing romantic. She thought that Lu Ligan would be in pain when they broke up, but she didn't expect that as soon as he turned around and got into Ding Dong's bed, he now alive and kicking, Tan Shahen is like a fart, and disappeared in a gust of wind. Will Zhang Chen also follow Lu Ligan and climb into Ding Dong's bed? Even if he doesn't go, Lu Ligan will pull him there. Thinking of this, Jin Lily suddenly felt extremely disgusted with that familiar body. So humming disgusting. Jin Lily sat for a while, and she felt that the fragrance on her body had disappeared. What if Mr. I smelled it, so I quickly went to take a shower again. When she was taking a shower, she was afraid that at this time, Mr. Xia would just come back. She washed herself sparingly and in a hurry. She pricked up her ears and listened. There seemed to be some movement outside. Jin Lily quickly wrapped her body in a bath towel and ran away. He came out, but everything was still the same outside. There was still an empty room, an empty sofa, and empty chairs. The door coming in was closed, and the doors to Mr. Xia's office and bedroom were also closed. Jin Lily sighed. When it was completely dark outside, the whistle of Xiuying port became clearer every time, and the night became deeper and deeper. Jin Lily looked at her watch. It was already past 12 o'clock. It was impossible for Mr. Xia to come back at this time. Jin Lily sat blankly in the darkness for a while. She got up and went to Mr. Xia's room, leaving the door open so that she could hear what was going on outside. She walked to Mr. Xia's bed and let her clothes slip off her body one by one. She climbed onto the bed naked and covered herself with a blanket. She felt Mr. Xia's breath on the pillow and blanket. And the smell of sweat that they worked so hard and beautifully that day. Tears flowed down Jin Lily's cheeks. The food in the refrigerator was getting less and less. Jin Lily had to control herself and not eat unless she had to. She cooked a large pot of noodles and put it in the cold room of the refrigerator. She was really hungry, so she ate only 2 chopsticks. Cold noodles, she felt that she could finish the whole pot of noodles in one go, and screamed to herself, "No, no, no." She forced herself to put the pot back in the refrigerator, closed the door, and quickly fled the kitchen. She felt that if she stayed here for a while longer, she would really finish all the noodles. This was her last pot of noodles. If so, she would probably starve to death before Mr. Xia came back. Jin Lily's eyes and stomach were staring at the closed door. How much she wanted to go out and have a good meal, but she couldn't. She felt that the door was closed by her for Mr. Xia, and only Mr. Xia could open it. If she couldn't help but open it now, her previous efforts and waiting would be in vain, everything would disappear quickly, and the outside world would squeeze in through that door, and she would be unable to withstand it. If the outside world invades the door and looks ferocious, then Mr. Xia will most likely never come back. Jin Lily, locked this door for Xia's hiking. Xia's hiking, please open it yourself. Time passed day by day. Jin Lily didn't know how long it had been since Mr. Xia left. All the noodles in the refrigerator were eaten. Even the pot of noodles was swamped by Jin Lily with cold boiled water and drank. She searched the whole house and even found the biscuits that had been in Lao Bao's room for a long time and ate them. Finally, Jin Lily smiled bitterly, thinking that even if 10,000 mice were let in, they would not find any food in this house. Jin Lily still lay on Mr. Xia's bed at night, took a shower as soon as she got up, and cleaned herself up. She thought that when she was dying, she became more and more energetic, but when she wanted to cheer up every day, she became more and more energetic. Weak and getting thinner and thinner. She sat on the sofa and stared at the closed door. She felt that even if she wanted to, She had no strength to open the heavy door. This is good. When the world forgets us, let us forget ourselves behind a door. Jin Lily couldn't help laughing when such sour words came out. Jin Lily stared at the door. Suddenly, she felt the door lock moving. Jin Lily was dumbfounded. She wiped her eyes. The door lock was indeed moving. Jin Lily was so stupid. Then the door opened, and a figure appeared at the door. Ah, with a surprised voice, Jin Lily fainted. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei-Shi Niang. Chapter 206. Jin Lily woke up slowly and leisurely. She found herself lying on the sofa with her head in Mr. Xia's arms. Jin Lily shouted in surprise, "You are back. Are you really back?" Mr. Xia nodded, "I'm back. Is everything resolved?" "It's all solved." Jin Lily breathed a sigh of relief. She struggled to remember that Mr. Xia held her down. Mr. Xia told her to lie down for a while and have a good rest. Jin Lily lay down obediently and stopped moving. Mr. Xia looked at Jin Lily's face and said to her, "You have lost weight." Jin Lily smiled and said, "I'm fine, I'm just hungry." Mr. Xia's heart moved, and he seemed to understand something. He asked, "You haven't gone out since I left?" Jin Lily nodded. Mr. Xia was surprised. He stood up, put Jin Lily's head on the armrest of the sofa, walked to the kitchen, opened the doors of the refrigerator and freezer, and saw that there was only a plastic bag wrapped in a ball inside. There was nothing. Mr. Xia opened the plastic bag and took a look. Inside was Jin Lily's BB machine. Facing this empty refrigerator, Mr. Xia understood everything. He hurriedly walked out, rummaged through his bag, found out a piece of bread, handed it to Jin Lily, and said to Jin Lily, "This is a gift on the plane. You eat it first, and we will go out to eat right away." Jin Lily said took the bread, and ate it hungrily. Mr. Xia quickly went to pour a glass of water for Jin Lily and said to Jin Lily, "What do you want to eat? I'll buy it for you." Jin Lily shook her head while eating, "No, I want to go with you. When you come back, I won't let you go." "Okay, I'm not going anywhere," Mr. Xia said, sitting down next to Jin Lily, hugging her, his eyes filled with tears. In the past, Mr. Xia felt that Chen Ming was inferior to him in everything except that he had Xiao Zhao by his side, which he could not compare with. But now, Mr. Xia felt that he also had his own Xiao Zhao. No, it was Lily. Mr. Xia felt sad as he watched Jin Lily devouring the bread. He had never seen a person eating a piece of bread so deliciously. After eating the bread, the two of them stood up from the sofa and prepared to go out. Jin Lily said, "I have strength now. I want to hug." The two stood hugging and kissing. Mr. Xia asked Jin Lily, "What will you do if I don't come back?" Jin Lily shook her head and said firmly, "No, I believe you will come back." Mr. Xia smiled and said, "You are so awesome, you fooled even the police." Jin Lily was surprised. "When did I lie to the police?" Mr. Xia told her that when he arrived in Beijing, he still felt uneasy after thinking about it, so he asked Zhou Zheng to come to the company and find a way to get you out of the island. Zhou Zheng came and knocked on the door for a long time, but no one responded. "He told me, you must have taken the money and left a long time ago. Where in the world are there such stupid people who would not fly separately when a disaster is approaching, and they would fly with money? Do you believe it?" Jin Lily stared at Mr. Xia and asked. "Of course I don't believe it. I believe you won't leave Hainan Island." Mr. Xia sighed happily, "However, I didn't expect you to be in the company all the time." Jin Lily snorted, "I'm asking you to look down on me." Mr. Xia smiled and said, "I don't dare anymore. Xia's hiking, We'll never underestimate you again. As the two were getting ready to go out, Jin Lily thought of something. She pointed at the door of Mr. Xia's office and said to Mr. Xia, "Go get that. After dinner, we'll go get $1. You owe me." Mr. Xia agreed, and he walked back to his office. When he saw the card on the table, it was still where he left it when he left, and he felt moved again. The two of them entered the elevator. Mr. Xia pressed the button for the underground parking lot. Jin Lily said, "No, no, we can eat at the small shop next to it. I can't wait any longer." Mr. Xia said yes, and he pressed the first floor button again. The two people walked to the gate. The wild boar vehicle at the door was startled when they saw Jin Lily. He took a step closer to them, wanting to tell Jin Lily that her boyfriend had come to see her, but he looked at her and Mr. Xia. The two of them were walking next to each other and talking affectionately, and then the wild boar vehicle took a step back and gave up. He watched helplessly as Mr. Xia and Jin Lily walked past him as if no one else was there, and the wild boar vehicle stared at their backs blankly. At the small restaurant next to the financial garden, the owner was mopping the floor and preparing to close. Mr. Xia and Jin Lily walked in. Mr. Xia asked if there was anything left to eat. The boss quickly said yes. The waiter had already gone home, and the boss took it upon himself to take down the stool that had been placed on the table. He was going to get a rag and wipe the table again. Mr. Xia said to him, "We will do it ourselves, and you go stir-fry quickly." "What do you want to eat?" the boss asked. "Come as soon as possible," Mr. Xia said. The boss turned around and entered the kitchen. Mr. Xia went to the counter first, took 2 cans of coconut juice, and handed them to Jin Lily. Jin Lily opened them and drank them, regardless of whether they looked good or not. Mr. Xia went to the counter and took out paper towels. When he was about to wipe the table, Jin Lily had already finished 2 cans of coconut juice. She wanted more, but Mr. Xia refused to give her any more. He told her, "If you drink more, I can't eat any more." Jin Lily kept shaking her head, "I can eat a pig now." The boss came out with a plate of scrambled eggs with leek sprouts. Even though Mr. Xia kept telling Jin Lily to slow down, Jin Lily was still in a hurry and finished the dish in a flash. Mr. Xia was watching from the side and looked at her again. Feeling sad for a while, Jin Lily raised her head, looked at him and smiled sheepishly. "By the way, you didn't eat even a single chopstick." The boss came out with the second plate and was surprised to see that the plate in front was empty. He went back with the empty plate, shaking his head and thinking, these two were reincarnations of starving ghosts. How could he know? Actually, there is only one. The boss acted very quickly. When the 5th dish was served, Jin Lily felt that her stomach was beginning to return to normal, so she slowed down and kept urging Mr. Xia to eat too. She told Mr. Xia, "It turns out that the food in this small shop is so delicious, we will eat there often in the future." Mr. Xia smiled and said, "It's not that the food is delicious, it's that you are hungry." Jin Lily smiled, tilted her head to think about it, and said, "But the food is still delicious. If you don't believe me, try it." Mr. Xia tried it with his chopsticks, and it sure tasted good. He walked away, got himself a bottle of beer, and brought Jin Lily a can of coconut juice. The two of them started, a bit like eating. As their stomachs gradually became fuller, the two of them had more time to chat. Jin Lily asked Mr. Xia, how was the matter resolved? Mr. Xia smiled softly, "This bastard, Lao Bao, is still simple-minded. He doesn't know that with one shot of his, a lot of people will be knocked down, not just me." What did he do? He really went to report it, but the person he found was in this blockbuster. Tragedy. Think about it, it's okay. Before he walked out of the building, everyone in the large area knew about it. At that time, you don't know how much pressure I was under. They were all forcing me to deal with this bastard quickly. Jin Lily stretched out her hand, held Mr. Xia's hand, and said pityingly, "How pitiful." Thinking about it now, Mr. Xia was still a little scared. He and Jin Lily said, "If I can't solve it, then these people will have to cut off their tails to survive, and I will be the next one to be sacrificed." Then what happened next? How did you solve it? Zhou Zhen went to Beijing. Jin Lily asked curiously, "Why is he going to Beijing?" Mr. Xia smiled, "To solve the problem, he took people to Beijing." Beijing is not a sea city, so what's the point of him going there? Jin Lily asked curiously. "Do you still remember the note you wrote for Lao Cai?" Jin Lily nodded. "In the end, this note saved me," Mr. Xia said. "The 50,000 that Lao Bao took from Lao Cai is a typical fraud. This can make him go to jail for 5 years. I understand. Is this the reason why Zhou Zhen went to Beijing?" Jin Lily shouted. Mr. Xia looked towards the kitchen behind Jin Lily, and neither said yes nor no. Jin Lily could see that Mr. Xia didn't want to be too specific about the matter. "Have you seen Lao Bao?" Jin Lily asked. "I saw it." Will he still cause trouble for you?" "No, this bastard is so scared that he doesn't dare to do it anymore," Mr. Xia said confidently, and Jin Lily breathed a sigh of relief. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 207. After eating, they returned to the company's underground parking lot and were about to drive to Lin Yiyan's bank. Jin Lily pointed to the damaged front fender of the car and proudly said to Mr. Xia, "Look, this is what I hit of." Mr. Xia couldn't help laughing. "Yes, it's better than I expected. You were able to drive back alone." When we got in the car again, of course Mr. Xia didn't allow Jin Lily to sit in the driver's seat. He told her that you should follow your master obediently and take out your driver's license for me. "Stingy bitch," Jin Lily pouted and cursed. Mr. Xia said, "I don't feel sorry for the car, I feel sorry for the person." Jin Lily smiled charmingly, "That's pretty much it? I like to hear that." They went to Lin Yiyan's bank. The lobby manager and the tellers at the counter all knew Jin Lily and Mr. Xia. They were surprised to see Mr. Xia. In the past, Jin Lily was the one who did things like withdrawing money. Yes, this was originally the responsibility of the cashier. What happened today, with Jin Lily standing by and Mr. Xia coming to withdraw the money himself? "How much does it take?" The teller handed over the withdrawal slip, and the lobby manager walked to the side and asked, "Mr. Xia, do you want to withdraw a lot? If it is a lot, I will tell the accounting supervisor and let him coordinate. A teller may not have so much cash." "It's not much, I'll take a piece," Mr. Xia said. "How much?" The lobby manager and the teller inside both thought they heard wrongly and looked at Mr. Xia in confusion. The lobby manager asked him. "1 piece," Mr. Xia repeated. The lobby manager laughed and said, half jokingly and half seriously, "Don't take a piece of it. I have it here and I'll give it to you." The teller was about to take the order back, but Mr. Xia quickly pressed it and said, "Thank you." "Thanks. I'd better take it myself, just take a piece." The lobby manager and the teller both looked at him blankly. Mr. Xia and Jin Lily looked at each other and smiled. Jin Lily felt a sweet feeling in her heart. Of course, others would not know the meaning of $1, and it was impossible for them to know. It's their secret. Mr. Xia filled out the form carefully and handed it in. The teller looked at the lobby manager, and the lobby manager looked at Jin Lily. Jin Lily stood aside, still smiling. Although it costs 1 yuan, the entire set of procedures still needs to be completed. Press the password, confirm, press the password again, and confirm again. Now not only the lobby manager and the teller in charge, but also the other tellers at the counter and the customers outside have stopped. After paying attention to the matter at hand, he looked at Mr. Xia curiously. The teller handed a $1 note to Mr. Xia. Mr. Xia turned around and gave it to Jin Lily. Jin Lily asked if there was a $1 coin. The tellers inside all shook their heads. Due to the hot weather in Hainan, everyone wears less clothes all year round. It is not a formal occasion, and they especially like to wear shorts and slippers. 1 yuan coins are very heavy. If you put a few coins in your pants pocket, you have to keep lifting your pants, so coins are very important in Hainan. Unwelcome. Of course, the bank fully understands the needs of customers. No customer will ask for 1 yuan coins, so they will not prepare coins, but only 1 yuan banknotes for customers. A security guard came over and told them, "I have coins." He took out the coins from his pocket and exchanged them for banknotes with Jin Lily. Jin Lily said thank you and put the coin in her wallet in full view of everyone. People on the side saw that she clearly had a wad of money in her wallet. "I don't even understand what they want this dollar for." Mr. Xia asked the lobby manager if the president was there. The lobby manager nodded. Mr. Xia and Jin Lily left the puzzled faces and went upstairs. Walking on the stairs, Jin Lily asked, "Why are you looking for the president?" Mr. Xia said, "You didn't even answer the phone, and you even blocked the phone and didn't reply." It frightened both Lin Yiyan and the president. "I'm back, why don't you come and report?" Only then did Jin Lily wake up. She flattened her lips and said, "If you don't come back, there's no point in answering the phone for me." Mr. Xia quickly said, I know. I am in Beijing and have already spoken to them, including Lao Cai and Lao Tan. Otherwise, the door of our company will probably be broken down by them." Jin Lily scolded, "Then you don't know to tell people in advance that you are safe and sound, and make others worry." Mr. Xia was stunned. "Yes, I want to tell you, but I have to find someone." Jin Lily laughed, and then she remembered that she had unplugged the phone line and hid the BB machine in the refrigerator. Mr. Xia must have called her in Beijing. Indeed, he had to find it. Myself. Only then did Jin Lily realize that it was Mr. Xia who was in Beijing and comforted everyone in the quiet days that followed. "Oops, I didn't even plug the phone line back in," Jin Lily shouted. Mr. Xia said, "Don't worry, I have plugged it back in. I, Hu Hansen, am back, and we are not allowed to reopen." Jin Lily chuckled. When Jin Lily passed by the door of Lin Yiyan's office, Jin Lily stood at the door and called Yanzi. Lin Yiyan looked up and saw it was her, screamed and ran out, ran to her side, couldn't help but punch Jin Lily. "Damn it, where have you been? Why can't I find you anywhere?" Jin Lily stood there, stupidly not knowing how to answer. Mr. Xia quickly said, "Xiao Jin and I went to Beijing together." "No, we came here right after we got off the plane." Lin Yiyan looked at Jin Lily, and Jin Lily nodded. Lin Yiyan shouted, "Then did you call Zhang Chen? They are looking for you everywhere." Jin Lily frowned slightly. She thought, why does the name Zhang Chen sound so harsh here now? Jin Lily originally didn't want to go to Wanghai Tower. Sitting on the bed, Mr. Xia told her that you should go. This is a sensitive period and there should be no more trouble. Jin Lily understood the meaning of Mr. Xia's words, which meant that their relationship could only be kept secret from the outside world. Mr. Xia has a family, and he can't just calm down and get up again. According to him, if his family members knew about his relationship with Jin Lily, they would go to the investors to make trouble and ask them to withdraw. He holds the position of chairman of Sanya Bay Regency Hotel and even chairman of Hainan Bata Industrial Co., Ltd. As for the investors, they are still trembling with fear. They hold the attitude that one more thing is worse than one less thing. They don't want to make the matter a big deal, so they will do as they are told. In that case, he will have no choice but to return to Beijing. "No, I won't allow you to leave me and go back to Beijing alone," Jin Lily said coquettishly. "I don't want to go back either," Mr. Xia said aggrievedly. Well, Jin Lily thought to herself, I have never thought about breaking up your family anyway, as long as we can be together, in what name, I don't care. Come back tomorrow morning, Mr. Xia and Jin Lily said. Jin Lily understood that this was for her to perform her best. Wherever a lover reunited after a long separation, they would say goodbye in a hurry after having a meal. Jin Lily curled her lips. Okay, if you have enough to do, then you have to do as much as you can. When Jin Lily arrived at Wanghai Building, she went to the front desk to get a room first, and then walked to Zhang Chen's office. Lu Ligan and Xiao Wu were both in Zhang Chen's office. When the three of them saw Jin Lily coming in, they were all stunned. After a while, Lu Ligan shouted, "Holy shit, who is this?" Jin Lily cursed, You, don't you know who I am?" I don't know, Lu Ligan shook his head. "I've been away for 3 days, how come you're so graceful?" "This means that she has lost weight." Jin Lily scolded, "Everything in Beijing is for pigs. This is my explanation. I went to Beijing, so you can't find me in Haikan." Jin Lily walked over. Lu Ligan and Xiao Wu were very understanding and quickly withdrew. Zhang Chen looked at Jin Lily and complained, "Why didn't you even reply to the page?" Jin Lily scolded, "I'm in Beijing, can I receive a page from you? I didn't even take you with you." Zhang Chen wanted to say something more, but Jin Lily chased him, "Do you know how thrilling and busy we are in Beijing?" Zhang Chen shut up, and the two of them did not continue to discuss this issue in depth. It had been a long time since they had seen each other, and both of them seemed a little shy. There was no surprise like lovers meeting again after a long separation, no hugs, and no kisses. The two sat in silence for a while, and Jin Lily said coquettishly, "Please treat me to something delicious." Zhang Chen said yes. The two people stood up. When Zhang Chen passed by Jin Lily hesitated for a moment, but still took Zhang Chen's hand. When their hands were held together, she seemed to be burned. Zhang Chen felt it. Turning back and looking at her with some confusion, Jin Lily quickly smiled at him. The two people walked outside the door and saw Lu Ligan and Xiao Wu chatting not far away. Lu Ligan was standing and Xiao Wu was squatting. Jin Lily shouted to them, "Let's go eat dong yang." Lu Ligan and Xiao Wu ran over quickly. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 208. Zhang Chen knew that Jin Lily had changed and that Jin Lily had someone else in her heart. Zhang Chen sat up on the bed and looked around him. Jin Lily, who was curled up beside the bed with her back to him, sighed secretly. After adapting to the darkness in the room, Zhang Chen looked at Jin Lily again. She was sleeping deeply, with her shoulders exposed outside the quilt rising and falling. Zhang Chen could reach out and touch her, but she felt very distant and strange. Zhang Chen's heart grew colder little by little. Just now, when both of them were in a daze, Zhang Chen habitually wanted to reach out his hand from under Jin Lily's neck and take her into his arms. Jin Lily muttered something and turned around subconsciously. She turned around, turned her back to him, and subconsciously hid beside the bed. Zhang Chen's hand stopped, a little embarrassed, but he suddenly woke up. He was too familiar with this body and all its body language. At this moment, Zhang Chen concluded that Jin Lily had changed. There was already someone else in her heart. In the past, when Zhang Chen stretched out his hand and made such an action in his sleep, Jin Lily would have muttered, but her body would roll into his arms naturally and docilely, curling up slightly and letting out her breath. He breathed on his chest, and his chest rose and fell, feeling her breath grow and shorten. Zhang Chen would soon hug her and continue to fall asleep. Zhang Chen stretched out his left hand and wanted to touch the cigarette on the bedside table, but did not find it. He turned around and saw that the bedside table was empty and there was nothing. Only then did Zhang Chen remember that the cigarette and lighter were still in his bag. Today, he didn't put them on the bedside table as usual. Jin Lily was sleeping deeply. She had shrunk to the edge of the bed as much as possible. If she moved a little further, she would roll out of the bed. Zhang Chen put his hand on his face and rubbed it down hard. He was sure that Jin Lily's change happened in the 11 days since she disappeared. Although they went back to the room and carried on as usual, at that time, Jiang Chen had already felt that Jin Lily was different from before. She didn't seem to be very interested, but she pretended that she was very interested. Jiang Chen could feel her interest, she was catering to him, and even somewhat flattering him. She seemed to be completing what had to be done. I had this feeling earlier. When they were eating at the Dongyang Hot Pot restaurant, Jin Lily was yelling that this one was delicious and that one was delicious. It was 10,000 times more delicious than the food in Beijing. She was very happy and satisfied, but Jiang Chen felt that her happiness was fake and pretentious, and she was deliberately pretending. Jiang Chen's heart sank for a moment, and then he began to think wildly. Later, even Lu Ligan and Xiao Wu noticed that Jin Lily was talking more and more, but the three of them were becoming more and more silent. We all come from a theater troupe. Do you think we don't have this kind of intuition and can't even tell what acting is and what real life is? 1 minute, Tan Shahen was in tears on the stage, bringing the audience down to tears. The next minute, she was gnawing on chicken feet in the audience, cursing Lu Ligan for buying spicy food. What the hell are you doing? Are you trying to prevent me from getting on stage? Lu Ligan laughed, I just want you not to be able to go on stage. This broken stage, this theater, the people below don't have a complete set of teeth, what's the point of being on stage? Tan Shahen was so angry that she threw the half-eaten chicken feet at Lu Ligan, turned around and went on stage, and continued to cry. Even compared to Su Jianmei, you, Jin Lily, are also a poor actor. Lu Ligan sighed secretly. He couldn't drink the wine today. Xiao Wu sighed secretly, he couldn't swallow the water today. They wanted to escape in a hurry, using the excuse that they had something to do and that there were many people waiting for him on the construction site. Jin Lily scolded, how long have you been thinking about this mutton? Are you going to leave right now? Lu Ligan smiled sarcastically, it's a world of two, you continue, we can't stay any longer. He didn't even have the courage to look at Jiang Chen and walked away. Xiao Wu followed him without saying a word. From that moment on, Jiang Chen was in a state of confusion. So, who could that person be? The first thing Jiang Chen thought of was Mr. Xia. They had been in Beijing for such a long time and were usually under the same roof. There were so many possibilities and opportunities, and many stories happened. Although Jin Lily comes into contact with many people every day, her life is actually very narrow. The time she contacts with those people every day is so short that there is no time to complete a foreplay, let alone the story behind it. The ones who have the most contact and are most likely to happen are Mr. Xia and Lao Bao. Or maybe this is the reason why Jiang Chen has always been reluctant and even a little reluctant to go to Jin Lily's company. Does he subconsciously feel that this day will come sooner or later? Jiang Chen ruled out Lao Bao. Since Jin Lily was in Beijing, it was impossible for her to continue the story with Lao Bao. The deeper relationship between men and women cannot be overcome by space. Jiang Chen thought that Mr. Xia was like this and Mr. Xia was like that, but Jiang Chen was confused about one thing. If that person was Mr. Xia, Jiang Chen felt that Jin Lily would conditionally say that she did not go to Beijing with Mr. Xia. Jiang Chen and Jin Lily don't have many interactions with each other. Their lives and work are almost two parallel lines with not much overlap. Each week is limited to the evening of Saturday to the early morning of Sunday. They will be together for more than 10 hours, Jin Lily has too many places to say that she has gone, and Jiang Chen can't tell the difference when she says she has gone. If she had a relationship with Mr. Xia, why would she take the initiative to tell them that she went to Beijing with Mr. Xia? A girl goes on a business trip with her male boss for more than 10 days. Even if they have nothing to do with each other, it will still make people think about her. She wants to avoid suspicion, and she doesn't even know how to tell this lie. Jiang Chen looked at Jin Lily who was huddled beside the bed. He really wanted to kick her off and ask her, who is that person? But Zhang Chen's heart was empty. He thought of Xiao Zhao, Gu Shifang, and Nang Lang. That Jia, who were they? Zhang Chen sighed secretly. He reached out to touch the cigarettes on the bedside table again, but found nothing. He turned around and saw that the bedside table was empty and there was nothing. Zhang Chen got out of bed and walked to the sofa. He wanted to get a cigarette and a lighter from his bag. He saw the pants on the side of the backpack and couldn't help but put them on. After putting on the pants, his hands seemed to stop listening to his instructions. Then help him put on his clothes. After Zhang Chen felt that he was fully dressed, he looked back at Jin Lily. Jin Lily was still sleeping soundly. Zhang Chen felt that the air in the room was very depressing and he was about to be out of breath. He needed to go outside and take a big gulp. To inhale, you also need to go outside and have a good smoke. Zhang Chen picked up his bag and walked out. The door was locked behind him with a soft click. Zhang Chen took a deep breath, feeling that he was still confused, so he walked towards the corridor. He wanted to go downstairs to the lobby, sit on the sofa, cross his arms and legs, and smoke a few cigarettes. When the elevator door opened, Zhang Chen was stunned for a moment before he remembered that the lobby where he wanted to sit on the sofa with arms crossed and smoke was gone. It had been demolished by himself. The temporary lobby in front of him was still suggested by him in order to reduce his stay. There is no rest area for the crowd. Zhang Chen walked out of the door. There were only a few scattered cars in the parking lot in front of the door. Zhang Chen looked left and right, then walked towards the flower bed at the old gate. He sat down on the flower bed, took out his cigarette, lit it, and took a strong puff, and then he smoked most of the cigarette. This cigarette was too strong. I almost choked myself. After a while, I slowly regained my breath. Zhang Chen threw a cigarette butt into the flower bed behind him, and then smoked a second one. While he was smoking, he was thinking about Jin Lily and Mr. Xia. He didn't want to think about it, but he couldn't help but think about it again. As he thought, his heart grew colder, and his face became gloomier. Zhang Chen noticed the gloominess on his face. He was a painter, and he knew what gloomy cold tones looked like. Immediately, another gloomy face appeared in front of him, that was Jian Qiang's face. They had just arrived. When I was at Yilan's house, every time I came in or out, I would see Jian Qiang sitting gloomily at the door, pretending not to see them, smoking alone. Although he couldn't see his face clearly, Zhang Chen could feel that his face was gloomy at that time. He didn't expect that at this moment, he and Jian Qiang would end up in the same place. Damn you! Zhang Chen looked at his watch. It was already past 2 o'clock. Haixia Road was still very lively. This world always has its own rhythm and methods to maintain its own liveliness. One person comes and another person leaves? Will not change it, nor will one laugh or cry. Zhang Chen stood up and walked to Haixia Road. The girls on the roadside looked a little tired, but they were still waiting. When Zhang Chen walked over, their eyebrows jumped. His face and expression looked too much like someone who needed them. But Zhang Chen walked in front of them and ignored the fellow Zhejiang fellow who still insisted on working as a shoe polisher to solicit business from him. He continued to walk forward and kept walking. He felt that he could not stop. If you stop, you will fall down. He walked through Haixia Road, Boa South Road, Wenming East Road, the alley, the patio on the first floor, walked to his room, fell on the bed, and Zhang Chen fell asleep. On fire. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 209. It was Xiaolin who shook Zhang Chen awake. Xiaolin woke up in the morning and saw Zhang Chen's door open. He was a little strange. He went to the bathroom, washed up, and emptied his stomach and bladder. When he came back, he saw that Zhang Chen's door was still open, but there was a room in the room. It was quiet, and Xiaolin became more curious and came over to take a look. He found Zhang Chen lying sideways on the bed, face down, his head buried in the blanket, sleeping soundly without even taking off his clothes. Xiaolin thought to himself that he probably had a late-night snack last night and drank too much. Xiaolin looked at the time, walked over and stretched out his hand to shake Zhang Chen awake. Zhang Chen turned around, opened his eyes, and looked at him blankly. Xiaolin muttered something. When he saw that Zhang Chen had sat up, he turned and walked out the door. Go, he muttered something repeatedly. This time Zhang Chen heard clearly. He was saying that he was going to work. Zhang Chen checked his watch and found that it was almost time to go to work. He took a towel and toothbrush, and when he reached the corridor, Xiaolin had already gone downstairs carrying his electrician's bag. Zhang Chen hurriedly washed up and went downstairs with his bag on his back. When he walked to the office, he was surprised to find Lu Ligan and Xiao Wu coming together. This early in the morning, why the hell are you here? What to do? For the first time, Lu Ligan did not make fun of Zhang Chen and Jin Lili. Both of them did not mention Jin Lili or anything related to Jin Lili. They deliberately avoided it. The avoidance was so obvious. It was obvious that they were treating Zhang Chen considered a fool. Lu Ligan asked, "Do you want to go and see that land?" Zhang Chen said, "Is there anything good to see?" Lu Ligan asked if he wanted to see the progress of Longkan South Road. Zhang Chen said he couldn't go. Lu Ligan stood up, looked at Xiao Wu, and told them, "I'm leaving now. Wait for me at noon, and let's have lunch together." After Lu Ligan left, Xiao Wu also stood up and left. He said he was going to the stone market. Zhang Chen was sitting there alone. He remembered that he just walked away from Jin Lili in the middle of the night yesterday. Jin Lili would be very angry. "If you're angry, just be angry," Zhang Chen scolded. He took out the BB camera and looked at it, but there was something surprising. There was no angry message on it, and there was no words. Note, 3 exclamation points and Miss Jin must add them. Zhang Chen stood up, walked to the door, stood for a while, and then walked towards the temporary lobby of the hotel in front. As soon as he arrived at the front desk, a waiter saw him and said to him, "Mr. Zhang, Miss Jin has already booked the room after you quit. Did you leave anything in the room?" Zhang Chen was stunned and quickly said, No, let me see how this lobby is used." The girl next to me said, "It's good. There are no sofas anymore. Those unscrupulous people won't sit here anymore. Mr. Zhang, can we not have sofas in the lobby in the future?" Zhang Chen couldn't help but laugh and said, "What are you thinking about? Have you ever seen a hotel lobby without a sofa?" The girl stuck out her tongue at him. Zhang Chen turned around and left the lobby. Jin Lili had already checked out the room. She knew that he had left early but was not angry. This was not Jin Lili anymore. What Zhang Chen didn't expect was that Jin Lili woke up in the morning and saw that Zhang Chen was no longer around her. Not only was she not angry, but she breathed a sigh of relief and finally stopped acting. Acting turned out to be so tiring. Jin Lili was a little impressed. Tan Shahen, how does she persevere every day? Jin Lili hurriedly washed up and hurried downstairs. While people were still checking out at the front desk, she called the security guard, "Handsome guy, to call a taxi for me." When Jin Lili arrived at the door of the hotel, a taxi was already waiting for her. She got into the taxi, and before she could even close the door, she told the driver, "Financial Garden, hurry up." Jin Lili opened the door and went in. Mr. Xia was just about to get up and wash up. He walked to the door of the room and opened the door. Jin Lili had already walked to the door of the room. When she saw him, she pushed him back to the bed. Jin Lili was so busy, How could she sometimes page Zhang Chen and add 3 exclamation points and hum? Zhang Chen, you are thinking too much. Zhang Chen returned to the office and sat in a daze for a while. The phone on the table rang. Zhang Chen answered it. On the other side of the phone was a second-rate guy. The second-rate guy called out, "Instructor, you found that pig grass girl." "Back," Zhang Chen said. "Where are you back from?" "Beijing, I came back with Mr. Xia." "Impossible." "How is it impossible?" "Mr. Zhang Chen was startled. "Who told you?" "Uncle Tan," the second-hand guy called. "Uncle Tan picked up Lao Xia at the airport yesterday and sent him downstairs to the company." Zhang Chen was stunned, and the idiot laughed loudly on the phone. "You are forced to make up, can't you continue? Are you hiding in the Golden House? When the boss is not around, you do it at home day and night?" "Ha ha ha ha." The second-rate guy laughed and hung up the phone. Zhang Chen was dumbfounded. So Jin Lily really didn't go to Beijing, and even pretended that he and Mr. for a period of time. Jin Lily was with that bucktooth, but she was not there to do any ideological work. Zhang Chen sighed. "What can I do next? Follow, stalk, yell, beat the buck-teeth up like so many idiots do, or cry and beg? None of this is in line with Zhang Chen's proud personality. Zhang Chen would never ask for help, even if it was his girlfriend. Even if he really wanted to, he would only act like he would love her or leave her. He would not even discuss this kind of matter with Lu Ligan and the others and ask them to help them figure out a solution. That would be harder than screwing his head off. He would just keep it to himself and let it ferment and grow in a dark way. Lu Ligan and the others also knew about Zhang Chen's bad temper, so when they reached this sensitive point, they could only choose to avoid it, otherwise they would offend Zhang Chen's face. Let nature take its course, Zhang Chen told himself, whether active or passive. Since you can't do these things, then let nature take its course. For Zhang Chen, the best result is to let nature take its course, and then wait for Jin Lily to do it herself. She regretted it and begged him in turn, but at that time, it was impossible for Zhang Chen to forgive her. At noon, Lu Ligan came over. The 3 of them were going to have lunch. Lu Ligan said, "Can we not go to the canteen? We are tired of eating. Let's go eat pig's feet rice." Zhang Chen thought of a good place and suddenly became interested. He told them, "Let's go, I will take you to a good place." Zhang Chen thought of the spicy chicken oil rice restaurant that Xiao Zhao took him to. 3 people and a motorcycle turned from Haixia Road to Datong Road. When they arrived on Datong Road, Zhang Chen couldn't remember where the store was. It was night when they came, but now it's daytime. The surrounding scenery was different. Similarly, Zhang Chen rode all the way to Datong Road. Longhua Road was in front of him, but he still couldn't find the store. Zhang Chen rode his motorcycle back, then turned to Guangquan Road and Datong Erhan Road, but couldn't find the store, and finally stopped helplessly at the entrance of Golden Palm Entertainment City. The 3 of them stood there, and Lu Ligan asked, "What the hell are you looking for?" Zhang Chen said, "Eating chicken oil rice. There are dozens of chicken oil rice restaurants in Haikan. Which one are you looking for?" Lu Ligan shook his head and asked him. Zhang Chen couldn't tell which store he was looking for. He didn't even remember the name of the store. Tell me, besides chicken oil rice, what else can they eat?" Lu Ligan asked impatiently. Spicy soup, fangio sausage, green onion omelette, I remember it was in this area." Zhang Chen wondered. "I know," Lu Ligan shouted. "Is there a red sign at the door with the words spicy soup, chicken oil rice on it, and the business is quite good, but there is a long queue at the door?" "That's right, have you eaten there?" When Lu Ligan said this, Zhang Chen remembered it and asked quickly. "I haven't eaten, but I've passed by. Why the hell didn't you tell me earlier?" Lu Ligan glared at him. "I am the living map of Haikan." Zhang Chen chuckled. Get out of the way. Lu Lipol waved his hand towards Zhang Chen. What did Zhang Chen say? Do you know the road? Go to the back, Lu Ligan said. Zhang Chen obediently gave up the driving seat to Lu Ligan. Lu Ligan took them and found the store quickly. This store is on a branch of Datong Road. No wonder Zhang Chen couldn't find it. That night, he took Xiao Zhao with him, but he didn't know how he ended up on this road. Maybe his thoughts were all on Xiao Zhao, and he didn't know why he ended up on this road. Watch the road. Zhang Chen sighed. There was a long queue at the door of the spicy soup and chicken oil restaurant. People in the queue took their meals and couldn't find a table to sit on. They took their dishes and found a place on the roadside outside the store to squat. Come down to eat, then leave after eating, leaving the empty dishes on the floor. The waiter in the store will come out to collect them after a while. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 210. Until getting off work in the evening, Zhang Chen didn't receive a call or page from Jin Lily, commenting on his performance in the middle of the night. Zhang Chen understood in his heart that Jin Lily didn't mind this matter, but didn't care at all. And also don't care about the people involved. I am already the one who is not cared about. Zhang Chen felt a little frustrated, a little angry, and a little sad. He felt that the road they had walked together for so many years should have come to an end. The next step was to continue, but they were still lingering. Even if Jin Lily changed her mind, with Zhang Chen, has also annihilated it little by little, and decided to let it become a dead end. The past is like a dream, left in vain, it will only become a scab that can be constantly uncovered. Zhang Chen is cruel in his heart and always so decisive when it comes to this kind of things. Just like when he walked away from Gu Shufang, he walked away as soon as he said to go away, but in terms of behavior, he was often dragging his feet. He knew that he would not end Jin Lily, seriously, let's break up, but he is already ready for Jin Lily to bring it up. If she hadn't brought it up, their relationship would have been delayed by two people until finally someone couldn't bear it anymore and ran away. Zhang Chen sneered, he didn't think that person would be him. Zhang Chen felt that he had enough of a bystander's mentality. He could be the protagonist and an audience at the same time, participating in the performance and watching a group of people perform to their heart's content. He would hold his hands and watch coldly, know they will be the kind of audience who are carried away by the plot and the characters in the play. In the evening, Lu Ligan came again. Zhang Chen knew in his heart that Lu Ligan had been here in the morning, noon, and evening. In fact, he had already sensed some clues that he was here to be a nanny. He knew that there were many things between them, and he could not open your heart and talk, and he will surround you and make jokes, so as to distract yourself and think less about those troublesome things. Or at least, don't get stuck in these things, be overwhelmed by them, and be unable to extricate yourself. With him by his side, he could at least reserve a space for Zhang Chen to show his head and take a breath. As long as he could still breathe, he wouldn't be suffocated to death. Zhang Chen was grateful from the bottom of his heart, but he couldn't say anything, let alone express his gratitude. It was like when Lu Ligan went to the airport every day to wait for Tan Shahen. Zhang Chen knew in his heart, but he could only pretend not to know, and just did something silently to share his loss and pain. After being together for a long time, they have really established a tacit understanding that belongs to them, and a brotherhood that is similar to family affection. Zhang Chen, Lu Ligan, and Xiao Wu took bowls to the cafeteria to get a lot of food. When they returned to the office, Zhang Chen took out the jagui wine that Lu Ligan had brought from Mr. Xie from the cabinet. When Lu Ligan saw it, he immediately stood up and took 2 teacups from the table. He looked at the remaining tea inside, walked to the door and poured it. Looking again, there were still remaining tea leaves stuck to the cups, so he used the cold water in the electric teapot was swung and poured out. Lu Ligan placed 2 teacups in front of Zhang Chen and himself. Zhang Chen had already opened the wine, half for each person, and the bottle of wine was divided into two. There were exactly 2 full cups. The two began to drink. Xiao Wu sitting on the edge, eating his meal. It was just getting dark outside when Yilin arrived on a broken bicycle. When Yilin arrived, Xiao stood up and went to train. He left Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan behind and continued drinking in the office. Lu Ligan raised his glass, clinked it with Zhang Chen, and drank a sip of wine. Lu Ligan looked at Zhang Chen and asked, "Are you still getting along, you and Lily?" Zhang Chen shook his head, "I don't know. Lao Xia still has buck teeth." Buck teeth. Holy shit. The two of them continued to drink, and all the topics about Jin Lily and this matter ended here. Lu Ligan could talk about other things, but when he encountered this, he was frustrated. This kind of thing makes no sense in the first place. But, what more should be said? Zhang Chen understood what Lu Ligan wanted to say. There was no need to say it. Zhang Chen also understood what Lu Ligan couldn't say. Besides, Lu Ligan's own fall was worse than Zhang Chen's. What other experiences could he pass on? Lu Li picked up the wine glass, twitched his nose, and shouted, "The wine is really good." Zhang Chen said yes. Lu Ligan didn't touch Zhang Chen. He took a sullen breath and then laughed. The laughter was unprovoked. Zhang Chen looked at him and asked strangely, "What's so funny?" "I suddenly remembered something." Lu Ligan continued to smile. "What's up?" "We are one-on-one, and we seem to be mismatched." "What the hell?" "Zhang Chen, think about it carefully. What would happen if you and Tan Shahan were together? I think you two must be fine by now. You are a match made in heaven." You. Why are you so anxious?" "I mean, if this Tan Shahan is obviously the most suitable for you, why would she fall in love with me? Now she's going to marry the most unsuitable sissy." "What do you mean?" "Then Lily is more suitable for you." Zhang Chen also smiled, and he felt a lot more relaxed. "Not suitable." Lu Lizan shook his head. "You and Tan Shahan are suitable, but Lily and I are not suitable. Her heart is bigger than mine." "I still don't know how big her heart is." "Do you know?" Zhang Chen was silent. He felt that Lu Ligan's words made sense. Jin Lily's heart was indeed big, boundless. "You don't know," Lu Ligan cursed. "You don't even know how big her heart is. How can you contain her heart?" Zhang Chen was still silent. Lu Ligan looked at the last sip of wine in the glass and raised the glass. "Here, let's drink it." Zhang Chen had sex with him. "Shall we go play golf at Lu Yun's place?" Lu Ligan said. "Let me tell you, the more you play golf, the more interesting it becomes." "No, what's the point? How is it different from the glass marbles we played with when we were kids?" "Isn't it just rolling the ball into the hole?" Zhang Chen said. "Okay, awesome." Lu Lipol raised his thumb. "If you put it like this, we can't continue the conversation. You are the kind of person who must connect kickball and football." Zhang Chen chuckled. "Then let's go see a movie." "It's been a long time since we've seen a movie," Lu Ligan suggested again. "No, what's so interesting about two men?" Zhang Chen blurted out. Lu Ligan opened his eyes wide, looked at him and shouted, "Oh, as far as I know, you and Jin Lily have not watched a movie this year. Which woman did you go to watch with?" "With no one." No, your tone just now clearly confessed that you went to the movies with a woman." Lu Ligan thought for a moment and smiled. "I know, is it yours? It has a cool aroma." Xiao Zhao appears again. "I'm too lazy to pay attention to you," Zhang Chen scolded. "That's right. If it's her, she really showed up at the right time." Zhang Chen knew what he meant and cursed. "You think everyone is you." Lu Ligan said nonchalantly, "I really understand that when the original soup is transformed into the original food, the harm caused by women still needs women to heal. Let me tell you, Zhang Chen, I am now full of gratitude for those ding-dongs." Zhang Chen burst into laughter and cursed, let's go, it's just a movie, It's so long-winded. Zhang Chen cursed like this, and he really missed Xiao Zhao a little. He also remembered that the last time he and Xiao Zhao went to the cinema, they didn't watch Anthony Hopkins' The Silence of the Lambs. Today, he could just watch this movie. I've watched the movie, but I don't know if it's still being released now. They did not go to Tailong City, but to the cinema in Jifangzi. When they arrived at the entrance of the cinema, Zhang Chen saw that The Silence of the Lambs was still playing in one hall, but the poster was pushed into the corner, and the door was crowded. The crowds came here for the newly released The Legend of the Condor Heroes by Andy Lau and Anita Mui. Before Zhang Chen could say anything, Lu Ligan pointed to The Silence of the Lambs poster in the corner and said to Zhang Chen, "Let's look at this." Zhang Chen agreed. On this point, Lu Ligan and Zhang Chen's tastes were surprisingly consistent. This was probably one of the reasons why the two of them quickly became good friends as soon as Zhang Chen entered the troupe. There's a reason, wine of course. The two of them were sitting in the cinema. As soon as the movie started, the BB player in Zhang Chen's waist vibrated. He picked it up and looked at it. What was displayed on it was: Manager Yan, Mr. Zhang, something happened on the construction site. Come as soon as possible.